Let's see. All right, we are live. Hey guys, how are you? How is everybody doing? Hi, Fitness. Hi, Chuck. How are you guys? Woo woo. Okay, so I am going to do my best to just bring some more fun to your life. Who in here, like you're in a situation where you're always working, you're always going after it, you kind of feel a little bit like maybe life has handed you some curveballs or things like that. I mean, story of our lives, right? It just never stops. But here's the thing. Here's what makes you great. What makes you great is that you don't stop. What makes you great is that you don't take it personal. What makes you great is that you are the type of person, that's resilient. And that's why you're still going after it. Hey, Donna. Hi, Isidore. Hi, Violet. Good morning, you guys. Hey, IG. Hi. Hi. So good to see you guys. Oh, so good. Okay, so I really want to dive in today. And first, if you are on Facebook, I'm going to ask you to tag a couple people that you know should be on this, that you know that you'd like to see them have more fun. If you're on Instagram, it'd be so awesome if you just share this live really quick with your stories and just say, jump on, you guys. Just anything to get as many people on as possible, because here's what I know for sure. So take a moment real quick. IG, share this on your story. Facebook, just go ahead and tag somebody that you know should have this. Like, really, you want to see somebody have more fun, or share it. Okay. So how many of you guys, true moment, how many of you guys have been in a situation where you burn through your weekend? Do you know what I mean by that? It's like you go through the weekend and you really didn't create anything that filled you back up. Like you kind of get back to Monday and you're saying, okay, here we go, Monday. And I still don't feel rejuvenated. I still don't feel amazing. I feel like, let's be honest, like the human moment of like, it's Monday, when really it's like we're going into the weekend now, right? And so I have so many times been in a situation where I have burned through the weekend and then I feel a little resentful. Anybody else like this? Yes or no? Has anybody ever felt resentful that you don't have enough time for you? Who are my parents out there? Put a P in the chat. Who are my parents out there? Put a P in the chat, right? In the comment section. Put a P in the comment section, because I want to see who my parents are. And the people who you've had some babies, or you've adopted babies, or you've had biological children. And so you guys, I mean, especially if you have ones that are still in the house, it's almost like there is no time for you. And it's crazy because you spend all this time raising children. And it's like you love them, you wanted them, you prayed for them, and then boom, you got them. You're like, oh. And I'm not saying that we resent our children, but it can feel like you might not put it on them, but they feel it. They'll feel it. And so will your husbands, the people you're in relationship with, or just your friends or your family. When you're under stress, who are my people that when you're under stress, not the best version of yourself shows up, right? When you're under, put an S if you get under stress and either you get angry. Actually, let me even ask a better question. If you get angry under stress, put an A. Because I want to reveal it. I want to take the shame off of it. Like as if you are not human, and somehow people will judge you because you get angry because you're playing a big game, right? So put an A in the comment section if you're someone who gets angry for real. Someone who gets angry when you get a lot of pressure. Who's someone who maybe you don't get angry, but maybe you get a little resentful. Maybe you lose your voice. Put a V. Put a V if you lose your voice, right? Just you go inward. It's like, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you right now. Leave me alone. And you lose your voice and you just you give it up. Put a V in the chat if that's you. If you just kind of stop talking to people, you feel a little, maybe even feel a little victim-y around it, but it's just like you feel like your voice has been stolen because you just can't get up to the plate anymore because you feel stressed out. Who are my people who eat? Put an E in the comment section. Who are my people who eat? You literally stop focusing on what you need to solve and you go and you eat. Like you're eating, and then there's another group of you guys who 100% avoid in another way. Maybe you work out obsessively, or you just stop showing up, or you go to a coffee shop, or you go get your nails done, or maybe guys, you go to the barber shop, or you go play a round of golf, and really you need to be solving your problems. Am I right? Yes, yes. Got it? So now I want you to go look at the comments thread. And I want you to realize that you're not alone. And I want you to remember the next time you go to judge somebody who maybe has your back, and it's like, go through the hard times with them. When you want to, cast somebody down, or maybe somebody's casting you down, right? Usually if you're casting somebody else down, they're casting you down. That's been the story of my imperfect life. And there's so many moments that you can have your fun stolen from you. And I will get into how I optimize my weekend. I promise you, I'll show you. And if I didn't do what I'm about to teach you, then I would be under the weight of condemnation. Not even other people's, just my own. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I know 100% that my messiness as a human shows up almost on a daily basis, if not on a daily basis, sometimes on an hour-to-hour basis, where I just stop and I go, ooh, God, I would hate it if there was a camera following me right now. Like, oh gosh, I would lose so much authority with the people that watch me on Shanda on demand. They would think, oh, like if Shanda does that, then oh my gosh, like maybe I can't hit those levels. And I want to tell you that you will hit the levels that you want of success. You will find the fun. You'll find the fun in your life, and you'll find the financial freedom in your life when you can stop making yourself wrong. When you can stop making yourself wrong for the hard moments. So I know that people like to there's a group of people who like to give all this advice in the world. So I stopped giving advice to my coaching clients, and I stopped giving advice to them about what they should do for a living. Do you know the number one question I get asked is, Shanda, what should I sell? Right? Shanda, what should I sell? And I'm like, I did not create the calling on your life. I did not create the calling on life. Drop to your knees. This morning, I'll give you a vulnerable moment. I was on my knees in my closet this morning. I might cry. And I'm not crying from sadness. I'm crying from just such gratitude that I drop to my knees now, instead of trying to do everything on my full weight. Right? Like yesterday we had somebody resign from our company, and God told me the day before they were going to resign, and then told me in the morning that they were going to resign. And I said, no, I really like that person. I'm just going to ignore that. And then I even said in Jesus' name, and Jesus is like, I'm the one who said it, girl. I'm the one that said it. And so I share this with you because, not to say Jesus or God or put it on anything like that, but to just say that, if you want to call it your gut instinct, or you want to call it whatever you want to call it, I'm going to call it God. Are you guys okay with that? Put yes in the comment section if you're okay with that. I want to call it God. And I'm going to say that when I left corporate America, I heard an audible voice in my car for about 2 hours. How many of you guys know this story? Say me if you know this story. And I was driving back from Sedona, Arizona. And I lived in Las Vegas at the time, and I was in a really crappy relationship. And so I literally was driving back to Las Vegas, and I'm in my X5 and I'm cruising. Who has a BMW? They're so comfortable. So I'm in my X5, I'm coming back from Sedona, Arizona, and I'm literally going, okay, life's good. And behind my back is an audible voice. And the audible voice told me to go and do what I'm doing today. So I want to let you know something. Yes, I'll talk about fun, but sometimes finances can steal your fun. Am I right? Yes? Am I right? Yes? Right? Let me know in the comment section, because it's the only way I know if I'm making sense to you, is to look at the comments and hear you. Okay? So I never woke up one day and said, you know what? I want to be rich. I want to be a speaker. I want to be a mentor and a coach. I want to be an author. I want to run this amazing company. I never did any of that. I was really content. Some of you guys need to hear this right now. I was really content working in corporate America. I loved my job. I 100% was crushing it in my job. I had a great boss, just loved her. She was so human, like her messiness was real, but she was just a baller. She had courage, she had guts. Right? I watched people quit on her. I watched her hire people. I watched her fire people. And they grew this amazing empire, which is still going today. Amazing empire. Great marriage, great kids. You want to look at the fruit of your leadership, look at your marriages. Look at your relationships. That's always the biggest opportunity for leadership and humility. So I was in my car and I hear this audible voice for like 2 hours, y'all. And it was to come and teach financial freedom. And I was out having fun in Arizona. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to do this. How many of you guys are in a situation right now? You need to do something. You need to make a decision. You even know that you need to move in a certain direction, but you're still not doing it because you're not trusting. See, sometimes the voice is a whisper. It's like right behind you. You don't trust it because you've spent so much time doing things on your own free will that you don't know the difference between your voice, the enemy's voice, and your creator's voice. I'm not saying that's everybody, but I'm just saying that some of you. It's been me many times. And so this audible voice tells me to go and to start this company, and I fought it. Now, I was obedient. 3 days later, I created my first program, and I lit candles all around me, and it was like I was putting all my faith in candles and rocks or crystals and all these things. This is why I talk about this all the time, instead of putting it in God. And so and this isn't about God. This is about, I'm going to move to fun, but it's about the fact that there's things that you need to make a decision on, and you're still like looking at your bank account, asking it for permission. You're still maybe looking at a crystal and asking the crystal to save you, or you're doing desperate prayers to God. And the truth is if you were just to stop and speak to him every single day about all the things before, you'll get a heads up. Like I got a heads up that somebody was resigning yesterday. I mean, it is so incredibly, it's such a miracle and a deep faith when you know things before they're going to happen. I mean, it's not always been like that. So when I started to run this company and step in this company, it's always had a favor on it. And now there's a pruning happening. And I was told that a year ago. I was told that we were going to move through a lot of team. And I'm talking, anybody ever leave a relationship? It's the worst feeling in the world. It's the worst feeling in the world. You hear what I'm saying? Yes? Can you guys understand me? Yes, it's the worst. Anybody ever left a relationship or somebody's left you? It's the worst feeling in the world, right? My son has a friend moving back stateside, and he just met him here in Puerto Rico. And he said, I don't want him to go, Mom. And I'm like, yeah, it hurts to say goodbye to someone, doesn't it? And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I really like that little boy. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But you got to let the pruning happen, because before the advancement happens, there's a pruning. And part of your responsibility is to use your calendar in a way that you can expand your bandwidth, which is fun. It's fun. You've got to be able to open up enough space for your coaches, your mentors, God, your husbands, your wives, your friends, the people that you love, to actually come in and to help prune with you and help lift you up. See, if you're the only one always striving, and you guys on Facebook, real quick, can you hit share? And let's get this message out to as many people as we can. On Instagram, pop it up to your story real quick. If we could just, like, I used to call it a wave. It's like you're in the ocean, and it's okay if you've never surfed, you'll get this feeling. And the wave picks you up and everything's working really well. That was last year around us. We were just crushing it. And then the wave pulls back. And when it pulls back, it's like a rip current. Everybody's like, oh my God, I gotta get back to shore. The wave's taking me back. And what happens is that you exhaust yourself because you don't allow for the breath. So I'm gonna ask you really quick, are you on a wave right now? Or are you in a breath? Put a W if you're on a wave right now, like things are like going in the right direction. Like you're just like, oh my gosh, it's both the right direction. The wave and the breath are both the right direction. But can you allow yourself to be like the fish and go, right? So are you in a wave right now? It's like, woo, things are on the way up. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. Mickey's on a wave. Holly's on a wave. So good, you guys, right? Homebody's on a wave. Aaron's on a wave. But how many of you guys are in a breath right now? Put a B. How many of you guys are on a breath right now? Put a B, right? By the way, on a wave, it doesn't mean that you're not working through things, but you can feel this momentum. But in a breath, it feels like you're getting pruned, and you are. And the more you fight the rip current, the more you drown. So I'm going to ask you today as you're going into the weekend, and maybe somebody will watch this replay later and it is the weekend, or maybe somebody will watch this 2 months from now and you're going to prepare for the weekend. I'm going to tell you something that's really helped a lot for me. It's calendaring. I know it's so logical. It's like I got you high up here, but it's like so logical. I was on my knees in my closet a few minutes ago before starting this live, and I was bawling my eyes out, surrendering every ounce of control, apologizing for any area that I may have taken control, and really going into the depth of praying for other people. I know that sounds weird right now, but it's important for you to hear that, because some of you guys won't allow yourself to have fun because secretly, even if you don't admit it, you don't feel good, or you feel like maybe you're being a bad person to someone, or you're taking shame on, right? There's a book I'm reading right now. Again, you don't have to be into Jesus. I'm into leadership, and Jesus lived, right? And so there's a book called Jesus Leadership. And again, really this is about leadership more so than anything else. I love reading about great leaders in the world because leadership is the key to us going to the next level. And I want to squeeze as much juice out of my life as possible. So in this book, there is a spiritual test. Right? And the spiritual test, when I was doing it, it's around leadership, administration, teaching, knowledge, wisdom, prophecy, discernment, shepherding, faith, evangelism, apostleship, service, help, mercy, giving, hospitality. When I was doing this test, it's like 2 pages or 3 pages of like answering questions and rating yourself. And when I was doing this spiritual test, which is, what did you come out of the womb? Like it's not even a strength test. It's like, what did you come out of the womb with that if you amplified it and just got good with your role and you allowed help in, which is really, really tough. My entrepreneurs out there, if you're an entrepreneur, can you put an E in the comment section right now, or put an EN in the comment section. So I see some people on Instagram asking what the book is. Just DM me and I'll take a picture and I'll send it to you. Okay, we'll have our team shoot it over to you. So entrepreneurs, your greatest strength is that you can carry a lot. How you handle the pressure will determine on the speed that you go. Are you kind? Are you nice? Do you lose your voice? Do you get angry? Whatever that looks like. How quickly can you pivot and shift will actually determine on how much your speed goes, period. Right? Period. And people will tell you move too fast, they'll do all of that. And then you'll meet other people where they're moving super fast and so are their teams, and their teams are driving G-Wagons and BMWs, and they're not driving Toyotas and cars that break down all the time. And it's because the leader doesn't allow for anybody in the space that says it's too much, I can't handle it. Oh, this is a lot. They prune those people out so that they can have a bunch of people who are as hungry as them so that they can be blessed with the fruit. Okay, so who you hang out with really matters on how much you actually think that you're crazy or actually stand strong in a storm. Okay, it makes a huge difference. And I'm going to tell you, the people who don't ride the way you ride will judge you like you wouldn't believe. And you've got, my husband and I were talking about this morning. It takes great, write this down, courage. It takes great courage to stand in front of smart people and say, no, I'm clear about where I'm going. Maybe you haven't caught where I'm going. And I'd like you to come with me, but like where I'm going requires a certain level of leadership, a certain level of toughness, a certain level of courage, a level of messiness, a certain level of imperfectness. And although you learn from it and gain wisdom, you process quickly. And you might make the same mistake twice. How many of you guys have made the same mistake twice? Put a 2 in the comment section. Put a 2, right? Like as if we're supposed to not make the same mistake twice. Like, let's be honest. I've made the same mistake 6, 10 times, right? I'm a little like, it takes me a little long sometimes to learn a lesson. And so, but yet we think that it's supposed to look perfect. It's not. Okay, it's the speed in which you go is the speed in which you'll grow, the speed in which you make your decisions, the speed in which you'll fail. And many times you'll fail so many times at the same thing until finally you go, I get my blind spot. You get what I'm saying? Yes? So as you're looking at whatever it is that you're going to do this weekend, I'm going to highly recommend you take the pressure off other people and you take the pressure off yourself. And I'm going to recommend that you drop to your knees, whatever that looks like for you. And I'm going to recommend that you honor yourself by releasing whatever shame you have, which goes back to my fancy little book here where I did my spiritual gift test last night. While I was doing the gift test, I was rating a lot of 4s and 5s as my characteristics. 5 means I'm highly characteristic in this. 4 means most of the time. And as I was doing it, I started to judge myself. And I thought, oh my gosh, like I can't get to the end of this test and I'm all 4s and 5s. Like that would mean I was perfect. Now, I know what that sounds like. It's a horrible thing to say. Like even when I say that, I have shame around that. So I started analyzing my answers because I didn't want to get to the end of the test and be perfect. Now, who can relate to me on this? Like, it's almost like, who am I to be that good? Who am I to step into my calling at that level? Who am I to, because there's decisions we've made that are not good. There's decisions we've made that are not good. There's people we've hurt. There's people I've hurt. There's people you've hurt. I'm sorry if I've ever hurt you. I really am. There's people you've talked about. There's people you've judged because you're human. And I know a lot of people want to stand on their pedestals and say that you're wrong or that you're a bad person. Maybe you do enough of that yourself, but you must unhook from that to expand fun. See, if I'm worried about finances or I'm worried about the way people think or you're worried about, you're worried about maybe the way you talked to somebody the other day, or maybe you're going through trying to grow a business right now and every time you make an offer, everybody rejects you and they always say no. Who's like that? Put an R in the chat. Who hates being rejected? I mean, it's so hard to go out there and help people or even grow your businesses for you entrepreneurs. It's so hard because you don't want to hear another no. Put an R. Put an R. Like let's unhook people from this isolation. Let's break people free to think there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Put an R in the comment section. Like, don't sit here and watch this and not help somebody else by being vulnerable. Put an R in the comment section if you hate to be rejected. And it actually starts to slow you down because you just want people to say yes. And so you just want to kind of avoid sales calls, avoid marketing campaigns, avoid investing in another coach because you want to avoid failure again. You want to avoid somebody giving you feedback. You want to avoid being wrong. You want to avoid any more criticism. You just want things to work. And it gets frustrating. See, all of that weight, as long as you're carrying it, this is why I dropped to my knees this morning. By the way, I dropped to my knees a lot. But I dropped to my knees this morning and Faye said, you're glowing. I'm like, maybe I look like I'm glowing, but I really have been crying in great gratitude that I don't have to hold that. Great gratitude that I'm not looking, and I recommend you grab a hold of this today, that I'm not looking for approval from other people. I'm looking to be the best version I can of myself, and you and I are going to mess up immensely. Immensely. And hopefully we can be vulnerable enough, talk like this enough, that the people around us see our hearts and stand by us. Do you hear what I'm saying? Yes? Yes? Tell me if you're picking this up. If this is for you right now, I want you to put a heart in the comment section. If this is for you right now, put a heart in the comment section. If you needed to hear this today, put a heart in the comment section. I need at least 10 people to put a heart in the comment section right now. Okay? So here's what I do to kind of expand my fun. Here's what I do. I'll give you a great example. Right now, I have a group of people coming in. So you know that we always do more things for other people than we do for ourselves, right? So I think I have 10 or 12. I might even have 14 people Come next week, Monday, by the way, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, I'm teaching a 3-day event. And I'm teaching people how to become really free financially. If you're watching us on any of the platforms, you can always go look at our bios, except for YouTube. I don't think I have it in the bio, but you can go to trainmeshanda.com or go search or send me a DM or whatever if you need this. Many of you guys have already done this, okay? Many of you guys. But this morning I was looking at all of our, like just in the last 2 weeks, one woman made 65,000, another woman made 45,000, somebody else made $3,000. And I just started sending these over to our team in Slack. I'm actually going to do a reel on Instagram, which is the things I sent to our team on Slack. And they were like, wow, this is fire. Look at all these people winning. I'm like, yeah, because they all have email lists, text message lists, and they can make good money at that point. I'm not going to go into business, but I'm just saying, when you open up the shame and the guilt and get it off you, there's enough space for you to see and feel the feedback of how brilliant you are, how amazing you are, how many people you've made a difference for. So as I'm looking at going into next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, after the 3-day workshop, I have 10 or 14 people flying in, 2 groups flying in, and they're staying with me in our house here in San Diego, here in Puerto Rico. And so my month is just, it's stacked until October 2nd moving forward. And there was a time in my life that would have felt exhausting. And now I just feel like it's a privilege to be able to be with that many people, and that I have friends like that, and I have business colleagues like that. And I'm just so thankful and privileged to be able to work like that. But I planned. And I planned our fun, right? So I want you to know something. Most business, so I would say 80, maybe 75% of doing business with great people in the world is knowing how to have fun. Did you know that? So my stepdad says everybody judged him for buying a yacht with every dollar he had. Truthfully, he bought a yacht with every dollar he has. And he did more business on that yacht that put him to the very, very high multi-millions cash every year. I'm not talking gross revenue. I mean net cash every year. He did that on his yacht because people would come on his yacht and you break bread together. And when you do that, you create connection. That's why all of you guys who are entrepreneurs who are only doing things virtually, like in our Mentor Me Live program, it's a great time to have us coach you, because we have a Tampa, Florida event coming up for just our clients. It's not being sold, but just our clients. And we'll get together in a room. And there's something that happens when you break bread together, like people skyrocket because things are spoken over them that break them free. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like the clarity all of a sudden comes after years. The person you sit next to just says, oh, just do this one little tweak and everything comes together. And people miss that because they're comfortable. They don't get on planes and go to their masterminds. Big, big mistake. So as these people are coming in, I put, don't be afraid to have more fun. So first and foremost, here's one of our days. The first morning that everybody's here, we have a morning buffet breakfast here in my kitchen in my house. We are planning right now the food. We want fresh fruit. We want scrambled eggs. We want bacon. We want gluten-free toast. We want bagels. We want French press coffee. We want creamers. We want oat milk. We want monk fruit. We want sugar. What am I doing? I'm catering. See, marketing's the same way. The marketing is not about you and the hair on your arms standing up. This is the big mistake and the absolute deception of personal development and religion in many cases. And it's not the religion. It's actually, by the way, New Age, you're super religious. Christians that are super judgmental, super religious. Catholics that are going to condemn people and shame them, super religious. Scripture says it's not about religion. It's about a relationship. So I share that with you because as you're kind of walking through this, you need to realize that your business is not about the laws that make the marketing work, the laws of attraction that I'm going to manipulate to make things work. Like that is out of context. All of the laws were pulled out of scripture, but the laws were there for you, not for you to serve the laws, but for you to use them. And so you can break the laws and be wildly successful. And when you try to manipulate the laws to get what you want, they fall flat. I know they do. I've tried, and I've seen many of you guys try for a very, very long time. And you get a little bit of fruit, a little bit of money, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of success, but it's very short-lived. Am I right? Yes? Anybody realize that? Yes. It's short-lived. That's why I went to go seek, where did law of attraction come from? Where did some of these laws come from? And I was like, I'm going to learn the context of this relationship, not just the laws, which is religion, right? So whether or not religion is called A Course in Miracles, it's still religion. You hear what I'm saying? So as I'm creating the fun, I'm thinking about my guests. As I'm creating a marketing campaign, I'm thinking about you. I'm not thinking about me and what I want to teach. Somebody asked me the other day, if you were to hire a CEO or a president for your company, how would you hire them? And I said, I've gotten smart with all the wrong hires, not the wrong people, but the wrong hires for the roles. I've gotten smart because now I know it's first about how they think, not about what their resume says. And so how I would hire somebody now in a senior role would be, how do they analyze? How do they process, which is customer first, client first, hardcore leadership team, meaning that everybody that works for hardcore, them first, not what do we want to give them, but them first. Right? So I'm thinking about my clients first. I'm thinking about my guests first. So we have a morning buffet, even right down to the music that we're going to play on the morning buffet is thought about. Why? It's the experience. What is the experience like working with you? What is the atmosphere like in your house? Okay, go in the comments and tell me. Just no shame. Because remember, shame's going to hold us back. No condemnation, no guilt, right? None of that. And it's hidden stuff, because we've made bad decisions in the past that make us feel that way. But if you were to just say, what is the atmosphere? What is the atmosphere of your home? What is it? Is it happy? Is it a little pressure? Is it angry? Is it frustrated because you're so trying to get there? And by the way, nothing's wrong. It's really good to bring it to the light. It's really good to let other people see it, because then you stop feeling guilty about it. And then when you read the comment section, this is why I think it sucks when people don't comment, because when you read the comments, you start to realize, oh, okay. Now you got to ask yourself, what should your atmosphere be to create the results that you want? So one of the groups that I'm planning here that's coming in, our intention is very clear. Our goal is very clear. And it's to fall in love with our spouses like it was the first time. Now, we are all serial entrepreneurs, and we know that our relationship with our spouses are so important because it dictates the energy we have for our businesses. I mean, it just does. It dictates our happiness, everything, right? If you're solo and by yourself, I mean, it's time to start looking for a partner. And you might say, I don't want a partner, Shanda. I know, but that's fear. No, it's not. I really choose that. I said that too. Okay, I said the exact same thing too. But the truth is, I didn't know how to do my life with somebody in a way that worked. And eventually I had to figure that out. I had to learn how to pick better, right? So morning buffet, we want gospel music playing for this one. We want the atmosphere, we want to be smiles and love. After we have breakfast, we're taking a golf cart. You guys know I just moved to Puerto Rico, right? So it's so beautiful here. We're actually getting a tropical storm that just turned to a tropical depression. And I'm actually kind of excited to be cozying up. But we're going to take a golf cart when they're here up to some of the hills that overlook the ocean. There's this amazing place on the hill that overlooks the ocean, and the wind blows. And we're going to do scripture study as with all of us on golf carts. And then we're going to talk about it with our spouses and with the group. We're going to go to the Dorado Beach pool one day. We have dinner at the Ritz-Carlton. And after dinner at the Ritz-Carlton, we have wine on the deck of our house here, which our deck is epic. Another day we have morning breakfast, and we pack 2 coolers, one full of lunch, one full of juices and drinks and margaritas and all of that, and Chardonnay and water and hydration water. And we're going out on this incredible yacht that we booked, and we're going to all the islands around Puerto Rico with crystal blue water, and we're going to float in the ocean. Like, it's all planned. See, there's nothing left to let's see what happens. See, a lot of us have been taught to just go with the flow. And I'm telling you, that's one level of leadership, but eventually going with the flow is like, Okay, what if the flow needs a little driving, needs a little rudder? So your tongue is like a rudder of a boat. And if you just move the rudder a little bit like this, if you say something like this, it can change the whole direction of your life. This is why you have the power of your tongue. And so it's really important what you speak, because that authority will move your life this way, or this way. So I don't just kind of like, oh, let's see what the flow happens. I set an intention that is clear on somebody else's happiness. My happiness always gets taken care of when I think about you. When I think about you, my happiness always gets taken care of. I learned something new that I like. But when I'm thinking about me, it's a freaking mess. I get in fights with my husband, or I feel like I'm entitled for something. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you get it. I don't have to keep saying that. Do you get it? Like, is it just me? But it's like, whenever I'm thinking about me, I need it to be fair. But a great relationship with your clients, with your husband, wife, your friends, your mom, your dad, is actually you being 100% about them. And if you're 100% about them, you're not resentful. You don't feel ripped off. But when you need to get paid back, then your give is coming from an impure place. So after the yacht experience, and we're going to float in the water, imagine this, we're going to float in crystal blue water with our spouses, and we're going to be filling each other up. And then I have a list of questions to ask our spouses that help build us up. So it's not about what am I doing wrong? What do I need to be criticized? It's like, what am I doing right? What, like, and there's a list of questions that we're all going to answer about our spouses and talk about our spouses to them. This is intention. This won't happen unless we set the calendar. Then we have dinner on the deck. We have mosquito candles all around us. And we have doTERRA. You guys on doTERRA? Who are my doTERRA reps? We have the doTERRA spray, which is amazing mosquito spray, which I don't have any mosquito bites, thank you. And everybody's to bring long pants in case. And then we're going to have our chef, who's an amazing chef, cook an amazing spread for us after the boat on the deck. And then we'll go over to the patio chairs, look over the yacht club, and have a great end to the day. So one of the days we've got pickleball at the end of the day. So none of the guests know unless they're watching now, but we had pickleball. So they were all instructed to bring running shoes and shorts and t-shirts so that we can have a couples pickleball at the end of one day at like 5:30 in the afternoon. My point is that you can schedule your fun. But if you go into the weekend and you don't put as much effort into your fun as you do your business, if you don't put enough effort into actually designing the hours of your day because you just don't want any more responsibility, you just need space, I'm like, that actually creates space. Fun creates bandwidth. So I'm going to encourage you today to realize everything is leadership. How you lead yourself into the weekend, how you lead your next week, how you lead your business, how you lead your relationships. Listen, you're not expected to be perfect, even though I know people will criticize you for not. They're going to criticize you for winning. They're going to criticize you for being too money driven. They're going to criticize you for being too success driven. They're going to criticize you for everything. Every time you make a move, every time you move, somebody's going to talk about you behind your back. But here's the good thing. If your validation is not in people and it's in you being the best version of yourself, within you being with, maybe it's God, that's what it is for me, that's where I gain my validation, then nothing has your power. But you, my friend, are the rudder of your life. You're the tongue that speaks. You're the tongue that decides. You're the tongue that has free will to be the rudder like a boat. And I'm going to suggest you just try this out. For the next 2 weekends of your life, why don't you plan them? Literally plan them. And try not to do the average. Don't shoot for average. Shoot for extraordinary. Don't shoot for average. Shoot for advancement. Don't shoot for average. Shoot for the best life you can possibly live. You guys, I thank you for being on Shanda On Demand with me. Next week, I will be going live on Shanda On Demand. I'll be going live before I lead our 3-day event. So if you have any desire to build client lists or buyers lists and you really need to find more people, then you can check out our bio or DM me and I'll help share the information for next week. But if nothing else, and I don't see you in that event, that's absolutely fine with me. But while I'm doing that event, I'm going to be in the studio. I'm going to go live right before the event. And that's for someone who feels like you're handling too much. You know, giving is not too much. If you're not putting the pressure on yourself to be good, or you're not resenting your work. So I'll go live next week, literally right before I lead this event, I'll go live. And then I'll go live throughout the rest of the week. But next week will be the last week of Shanda On Demand just for this month, because then we're going to go into a flex week. So I tried to, and I want to share something with you. I tried to run some other things in flex week on the Shanda On Demand time. Some of you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but I ran audios the last week of last month, and it just didn't work. It killed our engagement. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I failed. Right? I tried something new, it didn't work. And so I just let it go and get back to work. And so we're going to go dark because I take the last week of every single month off. It's our flex week. And so we will not be going live on our channels unless I just do it because I want to do it for fun. But there'll be no pressure on me or no meeting for me. Like there's nothing on my books the last week of the month so that I can be the person that I need to be able to create the results that I create. So I create my bandwidth by having that open space. And during that open space, I will have a house full of amazing people that I will be giving to in a different capacity, and they will be giving to me as well. So I'll see you next week, y'all. Here's to you having a phenomenal weekend. Here's to you not just watching Shanda On Demand and it just being some live for you. Here's to you really taking this coaching into your life. I'm really giving you all I got to be able to love you up. And I just recommend that you receive it because you are worthy, you are amazing. And truthfully, whatever it is that you're facing, God's got your back. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.